All right, another common troubleshooting issue that we're going to talk about is noise or hum and buzz in your audio console or on a particular channel. So there's a few reasons that this could be going on. So particularly if you're getting way too much noise, then you probably have too much gain. And pushing the gain too much can mess with your signal to noise ratio. So that's how much like pure signal you're getting from an instrument versus how much noise is coming with it. Because every instrument, every mic, every input is going to carry a little bit of noise with it. But there's that noise floor. There's a certain level where you're not going to hear any of that noise if you have it adjusted correctly. So if you're hearing noise from like a microphone or from an instrument, then you probably have the gain pushed a little bit too far. So that would be my recommendation, is to check your gain levels, make sure that gain is not pushed like crazy, and even if it doesn't look like it's pushed crazy, maybe pull it down a little bit, push the level up on the fader, and that should fix some of your issues with having noise. As far as noise in a video, you could probably EQ some of that out. For example, last weekend, one of the videos that we had with Pastor, an intro that we did with him, there was a lot of noise in the video. Something that you can do with that, if you hear a high-pitched noise, then something you can do is you can put a high-pass filter on the board. And I know that a low-pass filter. I know your board offers a high-pass filter. It doesn't actually offer a feature for a low-pass filter, but what you can do is just take some of the high-frequency sounds out. So I showed you the EQ video, how to use the EQ. So that would be going up to the high frequencies, going over to probably about like 14 or 16K, and pulling that down, and that should get rid of a lot of the noise that you're hearing if it's a high-pitched noise. If it's a low noise, like a rumbling, you can do the same kind of deal but with a low-pass filters, or sorry, I said it wrong again, with a high-pass filter. So you can actually go and press the high-pass filter button, turn it up to probably about 150 hertz, and that should get rid of any kind of noise that you're hearing in a video particularly. So with a microphone, that may or may not help you. I always put a high-pass filter on microphones and cut it up to about 150, just because that takes a lot of the, you don't want a lot of low end there, and we've talked a little bit about the philosophy of mixing and how you really want the bass and the kick to stand out, and you don't want a lot of low end in your vocals or anything like that. So I try to take a little bit of that out from the get-go. So you can do that if you want to, but if you're having issues with noise in like a video particularly, then that might be a way that you could do a quick fix on something like that. If you're hearing like a hum or a buzz just in general within your system, then what's most likely is that's probably a grounding issue. Usually hum and buzz comes from incorrect grounding. So that would mean checking all your cable connections and making sure that everything is connected properly until you can find the place where you're getting that actual hum and buzz from. And sometimes it will actually show up on a channel, so you may have nothing going, you just have the board on, you're hearing a hum and buzz, and it may just be showing like one fader is kind of like shows signal jumping up and down. So check the connection for that channel if that's the case, and make sure that everything is connected and wired correctly. And that also could possibly mean that you maybe need to get a new cable, and that would be up to you. You would just want to check the connection first to make sure that's not the issue. If it's still a problem, then that might be something that you want to get a new cable for that channel. So those are the most common issues when it comes to noise or hum and buzz, but always hum and buzz is going to be a grounding thing. So if you're hearing a low humming sound, or you're hearing a high pitched buzzing sound just in the system, I'm not talking about like while people are singing, I'm not talking about in a video, just in the system, like constantly throughout everything, then that is definitely a grounding issue. So you're going to want to make sure that you have that taken care of. Check how everything is connected, make sure everything is connected correctly. Possibly want to get new cables if you need to. One really specific issue with this kind of a deal is sometimes with guitars, or like bass guitars or whatever, the cord may not be plugged in all the way, and if the cord's not plugged in all the way, then that's going to cause probably a hum or a buzz. So that's super specific, but if you're noticing like a humming or buzzing sound and you're seeing a little bit of a signal from like a guitar channel, make sure, always you're going to want to make sure the connections are correct, but make sure that that plug is plugged in all the way. And that was probably your main issue when it comes to hum and buzz and noise.